I can't help say that I'm extremely tired. I am completely exhausted. I spent the last 2, 3, 4 hours troubleshooting PC hardware, building a test bench, trying to get things working, and trying to get everything somehow on, or like at least something to post. Nothing works. Everything I ordered doesn't work. I'm knackered. I have very little time because I am a soldier and I only have this weekend to make videos. And I essentially am quite stressed out because nothing works, which means, you know, I have to send some of this stuff back and get a refund, which is a nightmare in terms of logistics because once I'm back in the army, I can't do all of that. A great start to the challenge, but I guess I could tell you how all this happened, what has happened today, and I can take you back to the start. Welcome to the Used PC Challenge Singapore. What a way to start the first episode. So we arrive at the scene of the surgery. So this is the first episode of Used PC Hardware, and it's not a guide, it's more of just like a vlog style journey as we thrift our way across Carousel in Singapore and see what used PC deals we can get. And this is the first deal I got. It's an i7 4930K and a X79 motherboard. The motherboard is dead apparently, the CPU is unknown in terms of its condition, and the fans work perfectly. So the reason I got this, I got this for $90 total, which might sound like a terrible deal for an unknown condition i7 and a broken X79 motherboard. But here's the catch. It comes with this. This is something that I would genuinely appreciate. This is the Noctua NHD14 with 2 Noctua A15 fans, which are phenomenal fans. Even though they are the older models, and even though the D14 is an old model of the Noctua coolers, it still performs very, very well today. Once you adapt the hardware to, you know, AMD Ryzen, I can put this in my system no problem. The fans are still really quiet because Noctuas are built like tanks and they have really good performance no matter what, and they have really good reputation for that reason. You know, Noctua NHD15, 2 fans and a cooler for $90 isn't a bad price for the D14 because it's such a good cooler even in 2020, even though it's an old model. So the market price of the Noctua NHD14 alone is $90 already, and the fact that it came with a possibly working CPU and a possibly working, even though it's so-called faulty motherboard, even though it came with that, it still leaves me the possibility of getting extra value out of it from the CPU. But the thing is, for the CPU, I want to make it into like a gaming rig for maybe a chill setup, or I might sell it to a friend who's been looking into getting into Twitch streaming. And for that, you need a definitely working X79 motherboard. And in that case, that is where the second deal of this first episode comes in. And we're talking about this. This is the X79 Huanan motherboard with a Xeon 2 sticks of RAM and stuff. This is a really good deal, and I would be actually talking about it in episode 2 of this series rather than this episode itself. So if you want to see me look at this $150 combination of an 8-core CPU, a X79 motherboard from a Chinese company you've definitely never heard of, 16 gigs of RAM and a CPU cooler as well on top of that. If you want to see me talk about this deal and watch me test this out, then subscribe. But today we're focusing on the i7 4930K, seeing what works in here and seeing what doesn't work in here. So hopefully the CPU cooler and the CPU fans are all working, but for now we're gonna see if this works, because if it somehow magically works, then I would be so happy that we just like finesse the hell out of that guy. But let's begin by setting it up. Okay, quick update. While I was being bummed out about nothing worked, I realized while digging through the old stuff that I got the NHD15. This is a D15. It's not a D14, it's a D15. So the performance of it, it's what, another 5, 6, 7, 8% compared to the NHD14.
So quick update, I'm working from the back of my PC and I've decided to unplug all those modular cables and also remove the power supply for easier working. Benefits of this is obviously that it's easier to actually test everything properly, but the disadvantage is that I need to put it back just to edit this video because I need to get this video done today as well as 3 other videos. So whew, that's exhausting. So let's get to work.
Okay, so let's talk about like the stuff that I've got actually, the things that I've actually bought so far. I'm sitting on the floor because I'm trying to rest a little bit. Let's talk about the stuff that I've bought so far, and let's talk about why it would have been a good deal and whatnot, because this is episode 1 and we're going to be talking about the stuff that we have. So first off, let's talk about the first thing, the things that we are going to be testing out today. It's going to be this. It's going to be the i7 4930K with a motherboard that I know is dead, but I still want to give it a test, and a CPU cooler, the Note 1 HD14.
Took about 10-15 minutes, but finally the power supply is out. I've got the default cables in and we're ready to set up like a makeshift test bench with those motherboards over there. So as I've said, today's video will be about the i7 4930K with this X79 motherboard that I have no idea is working or not. And we're gonna need a CPU cooler, something that will work quickly. Chances are I'll probably just put on this not to a heatsink. It's quite easy, it's 2 screws, but I want to clean that out actually a little bit first. So this is the final setup I've come up with. I know it's the jankiest thing ever, but we've got everything installed. My 1070 Ti I pulled from my system to try to get this to post, and then, you know, let's just turn it on from the back, and everything's plugged in. So we should start it with we're gonna short it out and start it that way. Usually, there you go. Power switches, those 2. I'm gonna use a flathead screwdriver. Just okay, so yeah, it's on. The GPU is running. The CPU fan's not on, but maybe it could be a fan profile. Nothing is posting. I think it's turned off again. So we're just winging it. So if we see anything on this screen, we win at life. Nope. Still nothing. So yeah, that guy wasn't lying, the motherboard is dead.
So I faced a lot of difficulties trying to test, trying to benchmark this stuff. Basically, I only have one power supply and it's in my main PC. So I had to strip and open up my current PC just to see if these parts are working. And I had to disassemble a bunch of stuff. My desk is a mess, my life is a mess, and everything is just terribly messy right now, and it's kind of annoying. But it did teach me that, yes, my CPU fans were working, but it did teach me that the i7 was, the motherboard was not working as promised. However, the i7 4930K, it's still a question mark. It's a Schrodinger's CPU. I have no idea whether it works or not. And that is still up in the air. So I've been spending the last couple of half an hours, trying to troubleshoot and test things, and it's been a bit of a nightmare because nothing posts. I've gotten some fans to run, but I don't know, man. I have no idea what's gonna happen next. However, the motherboard doesn't work, so we know that now. I mean, we kind of knew it at first, but I was hoping that it might work, like, surprisingly or something. So the motherboard of the X79 MSI motherboard does not work. The CPU is still up in the air and the CPU cooler is up in the air. But In the next episode, we'll be talking about something else that I bought, the X79 motherboard and a Xeon CPU. So subscribe if you want to see that, because that X79 motherboard plus that i7 CPU I've got is going to give me an awesome combination, assuming I can get it to work. Hopefully we can, but you're going to have to keep watching. You're going to have to stay tuned for episode 2 to find out. I hope you had fun today, because you get to see like me stressing out, stripping on my computer, setting up like a weird test bench and stuff. If you did enjoy it, please like and subscribe. If you have any ideas as to how to improve this series, please tell me in the comments as well. Subscribe once again if you want to watch the next episode where I get a X79 motherboard and a Z CPU, which is supposed to be working according to the seller. And fingers crossed it works. Because if it works, then boom, we have an 8-core 16-thread CPU and motherboard and 16 gigs of RAM, which is pretty awesome. So stay tuned for that. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you all so much for watching. Goodbye.